Okay, so I've been tuning the engine from the front. I got the intake and exhaust off, so it's a little easier to spin. And then right in there, you have a small plug like this right next to the starter. You take that out. You hold this screwdriver in there. You put just a little bit of pressure on it while you're spinning the engine. You'll come up on a hole. When you slide that hole, you're gonna check to see when your number one is in TDC. You'll either be right on TDC or 180 out. The problem with mine is, since the push rod on number one bent, we lost a bridge, and obviously this valve in here is broken. We also don't have one in there. This one's also broken. So what I did is I just loosened this up so that I could move it along and not damage the rockers. And then looks like 6 is loose, so I believe this is 180 out. I'm gonna double check my notes, but I believe this means it's 180 out. Okay, so what I did on the last time when I put the screwdriver in there, I marked here and there because it's easier for me to see it. But you're supposed to mark down at the bottom and go 360. It doesn't really matter where you do it as long as you know you went a full 360. That way you'll know when you're coming up on your pin mark in there. Then you can turn it all the way till you're almost there. Then you go slowly to the last little bit so you can feel it go in there. And then when you're on number one TDC, number 6 should be tight. This one would be loose, you know, but as I already loosened this, I can't really go off of this. We're missing the bridge there and the valve, so we can't really go off of that. But what I can do is I can light that up and I can see the top of the piston there. So at least I know I'm either 180 out or, well, 360 out, I guess you'd say, from the front. And then that's where I was at earlier because number 6 was loose. You can still adjust it with number 6 loose, but you'd adjust a different number of valves. As right now I'm a number 1 TDC. We're gonna pull the head out, so in theory we don't really have to do this, but at least we know where we're at. Once we put it all together, I know I'm at TDC. We put everything down, and then we're gonna start with number 1, and then we'll turn it 180 again, or 360 on the pulley, and then I can do 6 and whatever goes with 6. So there we are. The first injector, I wanted to see you get some oil in there, so it's normal. Usually you'll siphon that out. So I took the bolts out of this one and the little spacer there so you can see them. And number 1 was the cylinder we had an issue with, and you can see here, this sucks because this is a brand new injector. It was in there for like 2 days before this happened. The tip is completely destroyed. It's gone flat. I'll show you a picture of the other one when I get it out, or I'll record another video. But that's gonna have to be replaced. It's like $500. To remove it, you put your eye bar right under here, your 90 degree. You're gonna pull back slowly, as easy as possible, so you don't damage the head. This one's fucked up anyway, but I just wanted you guys to see and go in there slow. Now if you clean the tip a little bit, you see the tip on this, nice and pointy. If I clean it up, you'll be able to see the little pinholes in there. So you see all the seals on there and the backer rings. That's about as easy as it gets. So next thing I did, I put a 5mm Allen 5/8 wrench, right? So I loosened up, righty tighty, lefty loosey, went left, and turned this out until, I use this one as an example, until you can feel a little slack in all of them. You don't really have to. I mean, this one was just barely tight. You can still see when I move it, it lifts the whole thing. But I took them all loose until pretty much they were all loose enough, or I could feel the spring wasn't as tight anymore. Sometimes you can spin them a little bit when they're all the way out. You really shouldn't, but once I did that, I skipped every bolt to loosen, came back the other way, went back, and then brought them up a little bit higher so the tension would come out slowly. I mean, it really wasn't, but just as a precaution. And then once I get these bolts out, take these out, and then this will come right off. Then you can access your other head bolts in there. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I took a 20mm 12-point socket, put it on an adapter so I can use my 3/4 drive breaker bar. Why? Pretty much because I don't want to break my back. I'd rather use a bigger bar and be easy on it. Basically gonna loosen them up until the washer on the bottom is loose, and then we'll go from there. Also, I believe I need to take the small ones out over there. I've never done a 31/26, so I'm kind of going on my way here a little bit at a time. I'll loosen these and I'll loosen those, and I'll go from there.